But all right, Citadel of Adun looks like a very similar build to what Stork did in the last set. I'm going to do some Bisu build action, some the Bork build action from Stork. But Jaedong is running back and forth. What he's trying to do is figure out if that forge is still spinning. Yes, it is. And I believe he has the Zergling speed upgrade. Didn't get a complete scout on that. Commentator scouting. But Corsair on the way. Citadel of Adun is there, ready to go. I'll be interested to see if the Templar Archives come up, because if he sticks to the Citadel of Adun, that means he's just going to go for another +1 speed zealot attack. But I think it would be much, much more effective to get some Dark Templar out there too, especially considering I don't think Jaedong has Overlords. Does he have Overlords right next to his 2 o'clock? He might have 1 or 2 there. He might have pumped those, but no, I don't see any Overlords over there, unless he's hiding them somewhere, but who knows? He doesn't have Overlord speed yet. So this is an interesting play from Jaedong. He's hiding his Overlords from the Corsair, which is risky by not having his Overlords at the 2 o'clock position, but he kept those Overlords safe from this Corsair. Of course, 1 is going to go down. But by the time the Hydralisk or maybe some Scourge pop, most likely the Scourge are going to try to take this down. Scourge! Oh, Stork. Almost taking down the Overlord. A couple more shots from that Corsair would have done it. This was actually very smart of Jaedong. This is a very, very small little thing that Jaedong did, but it's just very impressive to have those 2 Overlords hidden away from the 2 o'clock so they wouldn't be so easy to take down. And once they're hidden, and now he moves them towards the 2 o'clock, they're still slow, but he'll have them over there in time by the time Stork has the Dark Templar out. So smart. This is why a player like Jaedong really gets it done. But this is why a player like Stork can get it done too, sneaking back in, finding the Overlord that was in red, and taking it down. So Stork. So Stork moving his way towards the natural expansion right now. He might have enough to take this out. There is no sunken at all from Jaedong. He's going to have to micro his butt off to get rid of these Zealots. Stork decides to back off. It would be a very awkward attack at the front if he did attack with those Zealots. But he's coming in with some reinforcement Zealots. Maybe he thinks he has enough now. Pushing right now with Zealots. He has his +1. He has his speed. No sunken whatsoever for Jaedong at the front. So Stork trying to get rid of that Hydralisk Den. He's going to snipe the Hydralisk Den. This would be awful for Jaedong. Jaedong loses his Hydralisk Den. He didn't have a single sunken colony at the natural. Both players so far have played pretty risky and greedy, I have to say. This is risk and greed from these guys, saying, I don't need a cannon right now. I don't need a sunken colony, but they're both punishing each other for it. So this is already a very exciting series. There is 1 sunken colony at the new base, which is what Jaedong was thinking. Well, if he's going to go for a base, he's probably going to go for my 2 o'clock base that I just put up. But Stork taking down so many drones. This is some awesome economic arrest from him, if nothing else. Plus, he took out the Hydralisk Den, so Jaedong won't even be able to go for a very strong counterattack. He takes down a Corsair in the middle, so that's something from him. But look at the Stork's build. This is almost exactly what he did in the last set. Playing very conservatively, just getting out the right amount of troops. He already has his High Templar ready to go. Has them all out there. As soon he's going to start pumping Dragoons from his 5 gateways that I think he has now. The Hydralisk Den, luckily, is being rebuilt for Jaedong, and he's going to try to go for his 4th base again at the 12 o'clock. Already throwing that down. So Stork, he's making sure that he's going to be safe in the case of a counterattack, throwing down an extra cannon at his natural just in case. He's playing a little bit too cautiously, but better to be safe than sorry, especially as a Protoss player. Always better to be safe than sorry as a Protoss against a Zerg, because it's so easy to be sorry versus a Zerg. Like if you have 1 less cannon, you think, ah, crap. Oh, man. So Jaedong has a pretty sizable force of Hydralisk now, because he put down his Hydralisk Den. But Stork, soon enough, working off 2 bases, a Protoss player can amass a huge amount of troops. A ridiculous amount of troops from 2 bases. These days, it's pretty common to see a Protoss player from 2 bases beat a Zerg from 4 or 5 bases, just because they can work off the 2 for so long and get out such a strong grouping of units from the High Templar out there, sometimes Reavers in tow. I don't think Stork is going to go for Reavers, but he had completely blocked himself in with that pylon, which is interesting. He was just going out with the Zealots. This is such smart play from both of these guys so far. This is really impressing me. He went out with Zealots because he knew he would only be able to fit the Zealots out, and he's been grouping up Dragoons and everything behind this wall that is pretty much unbreakable. Of course, it's going to be awkward for these Dragoons to get out. If anyone can get those Dragoons out, it's Stork. He deals with Dragoons so much, deals with one of the glitchiest units in the game, so he's got to be used to this by now. But he has most of his troops out, and now he's going to push for a base. Now, which base will Stork attack? Is he going to go for the natural expansion? That would be a bit risky. I'd say he's probably going to try to take out that 2 o'clock base. He's already kind of moving up towards it. Now, he could definitely fake Jaedong out and go straight for the natural from this point. But taking out this base would be very, very, very beneficial if he can get rid of these Zerglings. The High Templar coming in. Stork does not storm there, though, which is smart, because he wouldn't have caught many Zerglings in that storm at all, because they ran. But working his way towards the 2 o'clock still, Jaedong is in a much better position this game than he was in the last game, though. He already has quite a bit of lurkers, and only about 1 observer that I see from Stork. So if this observer gets sniped, Stork is going to be forced back, and he won't be able to do much except do some blind storms, maybe, over top of these lurkers. But there's Jaedong. He's coming in with his Scourge. I see 2 more observers, though, so Stork is prepared with observers. I only saw 1 earlier, but he brought 3 along with him. He has some reinforcement observers coming in as well. So he is pushing his way towards that 12 o'clock, just trying to melt the units from Jaedong that are over here. But Jaedong has a nice surround here, nice pincer from Jaedong on all sides of Stork. The longer he stays in here with those lurkers too, the more it's going to grind down Stork's army. I mean, Stork is still only working from 2 bases. He has a 3rd down at the 6 o'clock as he's doing this attack, which is smart. Always good to put down your base when you're the aggressor. But losing all of his observers at the front, Stork, even with these reinforcements coming in, it's going to be so difficult to fight back these lurkers now. He doesn't even have High Templar to do some blind storms, so he's got to wait for his observer, which is coming in. 1 single observer, which Jaedong knows that's coming. Look at this game sense. Game sense. Epic star sense from Jaedong, knowing that observer was on the way, snipes it immediately. So Stork, it's going to be so hard to break through this lurker line. And look at this. Defiler's on the way now from Jaedong. So both these guys playing at just the top of their game. And now Jaedong has his 4th base up comfortably mining, so it's going to be even more difficult for Stork. But luckily for Stork, he has his 3rd base. Jaedong hasn't been able to do anything about that. So if he keeps pushing, keeps pumping, he should be okay. +1 carapace, +1 melee for Jaedong. So he is going to be able to do a ton of damage with these Zerglings. But still, he basically only has Zerglings, and those are good against the Dragoons, but not so good against these Archons and Zealots that make up a hefty chunk of Stork's army. And now Jaedong forced to pull all of his units, all of his lurkers, back to his natural expansion. Stork is going for the natural now. The Observer's in there, but no Overlords to detect the Observers. The Scourge actually forced away. Oh, that could have been vital for Jaedong to take down that Observer, but I wasn't able to do it. That's it. GG. Jaedong runs out of lurkers, runs out of all of his troops. Oh man, this series is pretty awesome. And now Stork is 1 game away from getting into the finals for the first time since 2008. Fanboyism on to the 4th set.